Hi everyone, it's Karen here. I'm the Ideas into Action Business Coach, and that means what I'm interested in is helping you to grow your business, but not just by going out and doing lots of random just in case learning. I want you to actually learn things, tactics, strategies, and then implement them. Turn your ideas into action. Now this week I've been talking to you about pricing and pricing strategies and structures, because it's something that small businesses often struggle with. And basically, throughout the week, I've mentioned a phrase a few times, and one or two people have asked me to explain what I mean really by this phrase. I've used the phrase business owner mindset a couple of times at least over the course of the week. And as I say, I thought I'd use today's session just to step on very briefly and share with you what I mean by the business owner mindset. So, as an independent business owner, you may have encountered the fact that a lot of people don't necessarily get what it is you're doing or why you're doing it. And that's because we share a set of common features and values and principles and a yearning to do things in a certain way. And when I'm asked to sort of try and express that as how does a business owner think differently to maybe an employed person, I have to go through all the stages of this, because actually, usually we go from being employed to being self-employed, and then I believe there's another step, which is business owner. And self-employed people often find it difficult to think of themselves as a business owner, but until they do, then they're going to be putting in false ceilings on their business, stopping themselves from being as potentially big as they could be. So I've got a couple of diagrams to share with you here. Now, I don't know which way to walk. This one over here, some of you will recognise this. This is not me, this is not mine. This is, have you read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad Cash Flow Quadrant book by Robert T. Kiyosaki? He has a fabulous series of notions really for us to start to understand how we think and how we process and how we become proper business owners. And this is his cash flow quadrant diagram, and it's probably the best way to describe very quickly the difference between being employed, self-employed, and a business owner, or ultimately an investor. So let's just quickly go through them. You start off and you're employed. People follow the system here through school, and you're encouraged to become employed. You were encouraged when I was growing up to get yourself a steady day job, something secure. Now, obviously, most of us know that over the last 30 years since I've been out there on the market, certainly it's not a secure thing to get, is an employed job. So it's not what it was. But let's describe it in the way that Robert T. Kiyosaki does. This is it. When you're employed, you have a job. That's it. You have a job. You might have several over a lifetime, and you're trading your time for money. Now, we've heard a lot of people talk about that, and actually it is a true thing, isn't it? You do, in a job, you trade your time for money. Then down here, we've got the S for self-employed. So that's the point at which you step off the norm and you become yourself, and you want to do your own thing in your own way. And at that point, you actually own a job. In most instances, we create ourselves a better job than we had when we were employed. We hope to earn more than we did when we were employed and do our own stuff in our own way to focus on the things we're good at. But we are still, most of us, trading our time for money. So by being self-employed, we might have become coaches, trainers, but we've done something often that is packaging us up in a different way and being able to sell ourselves out as the product. So we are, in effect, the owners of our own job. And you can't even complain about the boss, can you? Because it's you. B up here then is for business owner. And this is where there's a leap in your thinking from being self-employed to being a business owner. Your thinking about your business becomes much broader and wider. You have a growth mindset. You think about how you can expand this business. You have the confidence to take that business forward and look at it on a much larger scale than you might do if you were just self-employed. And business owners generally turn their knowledge, their skills and their products and expertise into systems, assets that their business can now work. Assets that people can work with you to help you deliver, whether that's employed or outsourced others. You can actually attach other people to you to do this, and therefore you have the capacity to earn more money. It takes the ceiling off your business. That's truly being a business owner. And then the I for investor, well, that's a fairly obvious one. You have investors, and it's where we're all trying, investments, and that's where we're all trying to get to, because that's the point at which your money works for you rather than you working for your money. I love that cash flow quadrant. That diagram, it typifies all of the things we need to know about the journey we want to take, and allows us then to put a framework for ourselves around how we're going to do that. Now, the other diagram here is one I use often in our boot camps and in my coaching with people, because this is about your own personal attitude and response to risk. Because taking the leap from here, employed to self-employed, is a risk. And most of us, well, pretty much all of the people that I'm working with, have taken that leap of faith in themselves, in their products, services, in their knowledge and expertise, and gone self-employed. But the same sort of leap is involved in taking that jump from self-employed to business owner, because you have to recognise now that there are certain things in your business you can't do yourself if you want to scale and earn your maximum and build your business to its maximum potential. Then you have to take the ceiling off, and you have to have other people working with you and have systems and ways of doing things. So these are all risks, these are all leaps of faith, as I say. Now, these two diagrams here are the same, really. They're describing your attitude towards risk. So in the centre, we have the comfort zone, where you're in control completely and you feel very comfortable and safe. And then we have the stretch zone. And the stretch zone is where, as it says, you're stretching yourself to do new things. Maybe taking the leap from being employed to self-employed, or vice versa. Taking the leap from being employed to a business owner. And then you've got panic around the edges. And what happens to quite a lot of people in this journey that we're taking is you sort of you gradually spiral your way out of the comfort zone into stretch. And that's great, and everything's going nicely and going well. And then suddenly what happens is you bang against the sides of panic. And for a minute, you rush back into the comfort zone and you hide yourself in there. And it takes you quite a while to break through that shell between comfort and stretch. Now, depending on whether you're employed or self-employed, you have a larger, thicker shell around that comfort zone and your stretch zone. Down here, on a business owner's sort of mindset and attitude to risk, you've got your comfort zone, you've got your stretch zone, and you've got your panic zone. But they have a much thicker shell, a thicker set of things to protect them and keep them buoyant and level and not panicking between the stretch and the panic zone. And they have a very little shell between the stretch and the comfort zone because they're constantly expanding what they feel comfortable doing. Now, what you should recognise is, as you're trying to find a pen, we all live somewhere in this diagram naturally. When Kate and I were doing our year of saying yes, we recognised that we reacted differently to things that happened to us, to things that went wrong. When our house sale fell through after 10 weeks, for instance, that was a biggie, and we reacted very differently to it. And we used this tool to see where we sat and how we thought. So for you, I want to suggest that you need to think about, well, are you on that journey of growing from being self-employed to a business owner, to adapting from having a thick shell to keep you in the comfort zone and keep you tentatively going into stretch? Or are you actually now in that place where the comfort zone for you will keep expanding and you live in stretch? I naturally live here, right on the edge of stretch, almost at the bit of panic. And Kate naturally lives in stretch, but much closer to the comfort zone, the control area. You, your friends, your family, the people around you, your business partners all live somewhere on this naturally in their reactions. And it's quite handy for you to recognise where you are on your journey from being employed, self-employed, or a business owner, and where you naturally live on that diagram. It's also quite useful for you to recognise where all those other people are as well and have a good guess at it. Because on the bad days, you don't want to actually go back and reflect on your not so brilliant experience today to the people who definitely live closed up in their comfort zone. They're not going to help you. You need to surround yourself with people who live in stretch, who have a business owner mindset. You need to be with those people as much as possible in order for you to adopt a business owner mindset of your own and get more comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's it for today's Tiny Teach. Hope you've enjoyed the Take 5. If you have, please tell your friends, your colleagues, whoever you can. Get them to tune in with me every weekday. Now, normally this is only a Monday to Thursday, but this week we have decided we are going to make this a Monday to Friday thing regularly now. So tomorrow we will be on again at around about 12 o'clock to 12:15 to come and do Take 5 on a Friday with you, and we will share with you tomorrow a pricing matrix for those of you that want a simpler system for you to be able to fall back on. Thanks very much for being here with me. Nice to see you here live, Grace. Thank you, and I'll see you all again later. Bye bye.